Welcome back to Jessi FIT Pilates, your home to get fit, toned, and flexible as we strengthen, stretch, and smile. My name is Jessi, and today we are doing a workout that is focused on flexibility and mobility of the hamstrings. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't know, make sure you also hit me up over on Instagram and give me a follow at Jessi FIT Pilates over there. I post way more regularly over there every day, regularly. Here, I'm usually posting about once a week. We're going to stretch hamstrings. If I'm really honest, Pilates and yoga just didn't give me the flexibility in my hips that I wanted, and I'm still working towards my splits. I'm getting closer every day, but that's thanks to something called functional range conditioning. A few weeks ago, I posted my cars with Catwoman workout, and today we're gonna continue that practice. Just a few things to note: I'm using the one chair not for a chair, but I'm gonna use it for a hamstring stretch just first. This would probably just be a little bit too low. I'm not gonna get enough stretch there. Active range of motion is just gonna be a little bit too high, so it's gonna be too much stretch. So, you know, it's a little bit of a princess with a pod. Alternatively, you can do this kneeling on the floor. Everybody's gonna have it accessible. You can hold things to a balance. I wanna go over this now because it'll make a lot more sense once I'm in the stretch and kind of shaking in there. You can hold things for balance. You can hold a broomstick. You might need that for some of the exercises, but let's get started with just some standing cars work. Cars stands for controlled articular rotations. So I'm going to stand with my hands right at my sides. My feet are hip distance apart. Take a deep breath in. Just take a moment to center yourself. Just go ahead and take a deep breath in. Drop your chin down to your chest. Hollow out your stomach. Squeeze your hips slightly. You're engaging your body slightly, nothing too crazy. Now drop your chin down to your chest. Scrape your chin down towards what will be your right shoulder, and then drop your right ear back. Lift your chin up so your chin goes all the way back up. For me here, this is where I really need to watch. Don't start to extend my lower back too much, and I really keep my spine long. Then we're gonna go over to the other side. So that should be your left. You're gonna reach that ear towards that back pocket. Now here's where my shoulder starts to get a little wonky. So I'm gonna draw that shoulder back a little bit and bring that ear down, and then I'm gonna trace the chin to the other side. Rotating, and we're just going to go back the way that we came. So scrape it, bend it, take it back, around. And if that hurts, then you just do what you can. Maybe you just do half the move. If you have any injuries, this may or may not be appropriate for your neck. You can always leave anything out. And we're just gonna do a few arm circles here. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a 360 view. That's why I have that set up like this, just so you can see what's going on. And I'm gonna try to keep my hips and my shoulders squared to the same direction. So I'm gonna try not to do this or that as I raise my arm up. I'm gonna cross it in front of my body. And I'm gonna try to keep that shoulder blade on my back body as I take it all the way up. I'm gonna get to about here, and I'm gonna rotate it in. Try to twist from the shoulder, not from the wrist. So that the whole arm bone turns in, right? And that whole shoulder rotates around in that joint. Now, this is where a lot of times I'll feel myself going here, so that's why the hips and the shoulders are reaching forward, and I'm getting a stretch in my shoulder joint, not twisting my hips back. And then bring it all the way down, and we'll go back the way we came. So back, I'll get to that spot that I can't go anymore, and I'll turn it out, bring it up, all the way in front of the body, and then we'll go to the other side. So I'll just turn so you can see me. I'm gonna bring my feet, bring them parallel, sort of disengage my body so I know if I'm twisting. I'm not wanna be loosey-goosey. I'm gonna bring that arm up, right? I'm rotating it out here, rotating it out here. I start to become really aware of my shoulder blade. I'm really aware of my spine. I'm gonna bring it up. I get to that point where I really can't keep it turned out anymore. And then from that shoulder, the head of my arm bone, I'm turning. Right, all the muscles around that shoulder joint, that's what I'm looking to mobilize with these. Right, and then I'll bring it all the way down towards my pocket, if I have a pocket. Then back, I'll get to that spot that I can't be rotated in anymore, and I'm gonna rotate it out. Right, that whole arm bone turns, and you see how I started to almost turn a little bit, so I'm gonna make sure that hip and that shoulder are still parallel with the other hip and the other shoulder, and then start to rotate them out. So bring it all the way up, and All right, so let's go ahead and actually do our hips and our knees on the floor. I think in the other video, in the cars video, the morning mobility, I do hips in, let's actually do them here. My wrists get a little funky, so sometimes I'm gonna just take that out of my face. I'm gonna come to like a neutral back position, and I'm gonna have my heels. I mean, you can really actually be either way, and making sure I'm gonna come out forward just a little bit. And I'm gonna take my knees right underneath my hips, hands are right underneath my shoulders. As we're gonna come in tight, I'm gonna keep my spine just in its natural position. And instead of doing the hips standing, we're gonna do them kneeling today. So I'm gonna lift the hip that's closest to you, bring it in towards my chest, then I'm gonna rotate it out. So I'm gonna get to out here, that's about as out as it can go. I'm gonna rotate it in, and I'm gonna make sure that I didn't shift my body either way. Take it up and reach that heel up to the ceiling, and then bring that knee to the other knee, and then we're gonna circle it in the other direction, right? So up, out, around, and then float it back underneath. We're gonna do one more in each direction, trying to keep the spine just really still. Pushing into the floor, right? Bring the knee up, sweep it out. Now when I get to about here, that's my end range. I'm gonna rotate the knee in and raise the heel up to the ceiling. Right, I'm scooping the head of that leg bone all around inside of that hip socket. And then I'm gonna bring it back. I take it up as high as I can, and I'm gonna reach it out. And the sides of my waist should be staying long. Both arms should be pressing into the floor. And I'll turn and face you to do the other side. I'll bring my spine into a long position, hands are on the floor, I'm really pushing into the thing. You can also go here if you're like me. I do get a little wristy in these positions. Hopefully I'm not gonna kick the chair. I'm gonna pull that knee into my chest. I'm gonna keep my spine long. I'm gonna sweep the knee out. I'm gonna get to that end range, right? So I'm externally rotated there. Now I'm gonna turn in, and I'm gonna sweep that heel up to the ceiling. I'm gonna try to keep my hips square and then bring it back the way I came and then reverse it, right? So back, sweep it out, around, in. I'm trying to stay evenly with both hands, pushing down into the floor and keeping the spine neutral, out, in, down, to the chest, then back, sweeps out, to the shoulder, to the chest. Now I'm gonna show you to do the knee cars seated on the floor. So you can also do these seated if sitting on the floor bothers you, so you can sit on a chair. I'm just sitting what's comfortable. Place your foot down, hug your arm underneath your thigh. Take the faraway arm and place it on top of that knee. And you can just turn out and in a few times, turn the shin in and out, so you can feel what that is. And then turn it out, extend it up. And you shouldn't really, even if you're super flexible, be able to extend to 100%. Turn it in and back. So if you've done that course video, we turn out, we rotate all around. Keep it turned in like this, right? So the shin is turned in towards the midline of my body. I'm gonna, that's my end range. It's not totally out, right? It's not totally straight. We'll do one more time. So it's rotated out. Right, so just warming up the joints. It's not heavy cardio work. That kind of warm up, turn it out. And then actually let's stay with this side. Let's do the ankle. And now I don't want to move the shin bone. I just want to keep this ankle bone really still. And it's just a little ankle circle. So point, turn in, bring it up, flex, turn it out, point down. Right, so in, up, out, right, point down, we'll go reverse, so turn it out, flex it up, turn it in, point it down, turn it out, flex it up, in, and down. So remember, you can always be seated on the chair, switch legs. I'm gonna place my other foot down on the floor, I'm gonna bring my chest towards it, I'm gonna scoop my hand underneath it, and then I kind of weave my other hand to the bicep, and I'm gonna place my hand on top of my thigh, just gently, right? I'm not really holding it. super, super tight or anything there. And then just turn the shin out and in, right? So in, out, just so you feel that in. You might not have a lot of range of motion. I certainly didn't the first few times I did this. I still don't. So now turn it out, extend it up. This is my tight side, so it's really not going to go very far. Turn it in, bend it down, turn it out, up, in. Now hold it in, take it up, turn it out, bring it down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down. So now I'm going to do ankle. We don't want to move the shin. We want to keep the shin neutral, and it's the foot moving, right? So the ankle joint is moving, not the tibia, not the knee. So this kind of freezes. You can put your hands over it, kind of snug it in tight, and now the movement's coming from the foot and the ankle muscles. So you can point and flex a few times if that feels good. Turn it in, flex, come through the center, fully flex, and turn it out, point down. You see this is my tight side too, this side, in, up, point, out, down, right? Now reverse, so we're gonna come out, flex up, take it in, point down, all the way point to the out, to the up, bring it in, point it down, and up. Okay, awesome. So we're gonna stand back up and get into our stretching.
I know I should have been there for you.
So I have a foam roller here just for balance. Remember, this should not be a balance exercise. This really should be to stretch the back of your hamstrings. Remember, you can do these on the floor. You can do these with any, if you have another chair. It's just, this gives me a really stable base, so that's why I'm using it. Your leg a lot, you can hold on to a wall. I'm going to start with what's my tighter side, so that is my left. If you're looking at me, it's going to look like my right, so I'll try to avoid staying left or right, because that always drives me crazy when creators do that in videos. I am squaring myself off. Hopefully you can kind of see me. I tried to give it a little bit of a 360 view. Hopefully my other camera is filming, which right now is my iPhone because my Sony broke. It's been a fun quarantine. So I'm gonna hold it there, and I'm going to bring one leg up, hopefully lift it. And now the thing is, we want to feel a stretch. This leg by no means needs to be totally straight. In fact, I don't want to feel pinching in the back of the knee, and I certainly don't want to feel pinching, in my lower back. I have this closed in case I feel I need balance. Some people also like to press to sort of push into like a radiation, work a little bit more. Also, something else to note, if you've done a lot of Pilates, we're not going to want this knee bent the way we would in Pilates a lot. We're actually going to want that leg totally straight and totally locked out and totally parallel, which if you've been turned out a lot, you'll know that that's actually much harder to stay parallel. So try to keep that parallel, which is why I'm allowing you to have something for balance. I don't want this to be a balance challenge. So I have a little bend in the knee here. And the first thing we're gonna do is do some roll downs or some spinal articulations. I have my hands on my hips. Remember, you can be kneeling, you can have two things in your hands, you can hold a partner, you can use maybe a band or another chair, whatever you need to do. But we're gonna start from the chin, and we're gonna drop the chin down and exhale, roll down, 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 down. And I'm keeping this leg really long, and I really feel it down there. At the bottom, you can hold on to whatever it is that's there, and I'm just gonna let my back open, and then I'm gonna draw my belly in, and I'm gonna roll up, 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 low back, middle back, upper back. We'll do that one more time. Exhale, rolling down. And then inhale, bring it up, 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 up. And then we're gonna just hold it here. You can adjust, you can make taking it up higher is gonna make that harder. Taking it straighter is going to move it a little bit harder. And then we're gonna go into something called pails and rails. Pails is progressive angular irradiation. We're gonna go into our pails and our rails, and that is basically just our stretches on crack. And this is what makes functional range conditioning a little bit different than Pilates or yoga. I mean, Pilates kind of does this. We're really going to be strengthening. We're going to hold for about 90 seconds after that. So I do have a timer going, so that's what you see me keep looking at through class. I am watching the time. You do want to be doing deep breaths, but we're going to alternate a series of very long rest down. If you've ever done PNF stretching, it's similar to that, except it's much more intense. And then we're going to do where we're lifting out of the muscle that we've just stretched. So it's the muscle that we're stretching sort of into it, and then coming out of it, stretching the muscle, strengthening the muscle opposite of the muscle we just stretched. And that's really just going to build strength around the flexibility, which is what's really done a lot more for my joints, but it is definitely uncomfortable. What the mistake I did make a lot in the beginning was actually going too intensely, so I'm actually not going to cue you to push down 100%. If you've done FRC before, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've never done it before, then don't worry about it. Just know that I'm not looking for you to necessarily be at 100% of your working capacity, but we are going to start. You want to make sure that your whole body is engaged, that bottom leg is engaged, my core is engaged. And I really want to focus on the back of this leg, and I'm going to maybe, you don't have to fully straighten it, and you really don't have to move it. And think about lengthening the leg and pushing the heel down. And it's almost as if there was a scale underneath that heel, and I wanted the scale to weigh down heavier. Now I'm just going to keep progressively weighing the scale down, right? So just pressing it down, pressing it down. Getting a little bit deeper, and then maybe think about, you don't necessarily have to straighten the knee more, but maybe think about straightening the knee a little bit more. Now we're just going to press in a little bit for 5 more seconds, and then we're going to go into what's called the round. You're going to think about lifting the leg. 3, 2. Now it's not actually going to lift. I'm just going to start to engage the muscle, right? So if I wanted to lift, I'd have to do something like this. That's not what I want you to do. It's, again, you want to think that there's a scale underneath that foot, your up foot. You want it to weigh lighter on that scale. Right, you're lifting the foot. You're driving all of that leg bone, all of the muscles up a little bit off of the chair, off of the floor, whatever it is that you're using. The rest of the body is just working to stabilize itself. It's not coming out of alignment. Now release for just a second. Now, for the second set of rails, you're going to raise that heel off of the scale. Keep everything else super still, everything else stable. Just focus on the muscles that I'm using to lift that heel lighter off the scale. Maybe the leg can get a little bit longer. Reaching the leg a little bit longer. Maybe it can get a little bit lighter. Last 10 seconds. Reaching that leg just a little bit lighter off that scale. Keeping the rest of the body super still, super engaged, super aligned. And then release. Now hold it there. We're going to do some axial rotations. So we're just going to turn that leg in, pause for a second. Bring it through center, turn it out, out, out. In, out, out, out. I'm just using that for balance. Everything else is engaged. My bottom leg super still, in, out, out, out. In, out, out, out. Now I'm gonna take that leg down. You can use this or not. I'm just gonna step back so I don't kick the chair. And I'm gonna keep this leg parallel. I'm gonna take this leg up to my end range, keeping everything so I don't want this hip jutting around and lower. Take it up, 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 down, down, down. I want to bring it up as far as I can without changing anything else in my spine or in my alignment. 3 more like that. Up, up, up. Right? Release it. Notice how nothing else changes. I want to maybe feel the back of the leg stretch. Last one. And then we'll switch sides. Try to keep the roller there. This will be my less tight side. It's my right side, definitely my less tight side. Find that right alignment, and we're gonna go into our spinal rolls, right? So we do these a lot in Pilates. We'll also do them in functional range conditioning. Use something to hold on to. I just don't want to hold it right to block my view. And I'm going to consciously keep making sure that that hip is in line with my other hip. And for this side, I really want to turn out and I want to stay parallel. That's a big adjustment with FRC to Pilates for me, was really learning how to be parallel. If you dance, it'll probably also be really apparent to you. Take an exhale, drop your chin to your chest, roll your chin to your chest, your upper back down, middle back, lower back. Pause for a second there. Notice that that knee is a little bent, and then come up, up. Again, take it down, 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 and you can hold on to something. You can hold on to the chair. Pause for just a second, realign if you need to, and then bring it up. And we'll hold for about 90 seconds here, right? That's what we just want to loosen up. I mean, I really want to do splits, and you just have to spend a lot of time in these positions, especially if you're older like me. I mean, if you're younger, maybe you'll get there quicker. But if you spend a lot of time sitting with these muscles in cramped positions, not being flexible, then you just have to spend a lot of time reversing all that. Deep breaths. Try to inhale for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4, really being mindful to the alignment, staying square to that foot. Notice that this leg is not totally straight. My bottom leg is totally straight. My core is working. Everything is engaged slightly. Not at 100% of my effort. My bottom leg is certainly working, but the muscles in my thigh bone, my foot are really working to support me. Now I'm going to start to imagine that there's a scale underneath that foot, and I'm going to press down heavier. Like I just want it to be a few pounds heavier than my actual leg. I'm going to consciously stay square and tall. My bottom leg stays stable. And I'm going to keep pressing that foot down into that scale, weighing it down heavier and heavier. Keep hollowing out my stomach. I'm keeping the breath in the back of my lungs, keeping my foot pressing down. We'll hold it for 10 more seconds. And then we'll get ready for that rail. We're going to lighten that foot in 3, 2. Now get ready to lighten the foot. The hip stays square, the leg stays long, nothing really moves. You can barely see it, but that foot, it's almost like I wanted to lift it, but I really can't. I really can't. I'm at my end range of motion. I really can't really lift that leg unless I wanted to put my whole body out of alignment. And I just wanted to lift that heel, so it's almost as if my leg could weigh nothing on that scale. A few more moments here. Maybe that leg, the tissues in the back of that leg can get a little bit longer. Last 8 seconds. Gets lighter and lighter. 2. Let it settle down and get ready for your second round of both. Push the heel down, that imaginary scale, push it down. You wanted it to weigh heavy. Keep it parallel. Keep the bottom leg stabilizing. You can push into a supporting pole, roller. It gets heavier and heavier. That foot pushes down more, down more, down more. You're pushing down into the chair, the floor, whatever it is that your foot or your heel is extended onto. Last 8 seconds, push down as much as you can. Now in 4, 3, we're gonna reverse it. 2, see if you can lightly extend the leg and raise the heel off the scale so that the scale registers lighter. The leg gets lighter and lighter. Your body gets taller and taller. What part of the leg do you feel that work in? Where in that thigh do you feel that work going? How aligned can you stay? How light can you get that foot? Last 10 seconds. 3, 2, and just settle down, breathe. We have the axial rotations, and then we have the standing lift off. Take another breath. Line up. We're going to turn that leg out. Hold. Turn it in. Hold. Turn it out. Hold. Turn it in. Out. It's almost like that leg bone was a skewer. In, hold. Out. Both legs are still really straight. In, hold for 3 seconds. Out, hold. In, hold. I'm really turning from that hip. That whole leg goes with me. In, hold. Bring that leg down. I'll face you. You can hold or not hold, something for balance. And I want to keep the sides of my body really lined and long. Right shoulders, hips, ankles. We're all going to stay in a long line. I'm going to take that leg up and hold it. Bring it down. This hip shouldn't be jutting out, forward, back. It should stay in one height. Lifting. Lifting it up and holding it. A few more like that. Lifting it up, the body stays really tall. Last 2. Lay onto your mat. I'm gonna lay with both legs straight. You can always bend one knee to modify. So the non-working knee, you can bend it to modify. I'm gonna have my non-working knee extended. The block is just there as a placeholder. Turn the leg out. I actually learned this from Nick Holt. He's down here. We'll try to link his page. Turn that leg out. So turn the knee out, extend up and hold for 3 seconds. And I'm keeping my neutral spine, I'm keeping my knee pressed into this lock with quite a bit of force. Hold it. Just one more like that. Hold. Bring it in. Now turn it in. Hold it up. Bend it. And again. Hold it. So it doesn't go all the way straight for me, and that's okay. I really just want to keep this 90-degree alignment. And I do really feel that the quads, the hamstrings and your quads have a relationship. So your quads need to be fully, they need to be able to extend fully so your hamstrings can extend fully, right? So they need to be able to flex fully rather. So hold, 90 degrees, turn out, stretch up, hold, bend. Neutral, right? Not gonna actually bring all the way down, turn it out. Take it up as far as I can, keeping my knee in contact, 90 degrees. Bend one more in this direction, take it up, hold it, in. Now turn it in, up and hold. Much harder in internal rotation for me, bend. Take it up, right, I'm going as far as I can in internal rotation up to the ceiling, and then bend one more time. Take it up, hold, and bend. So these are really the movements I do to stretch my hamstrings. I wish I could tell you that Pilates and yoga alone did it, but functional range conditioning is what did. If you have any questions, let me know. You can leave them in the comment box. Also check out my website and leave a comment on my blog post below. I will also leave a link there, and I will see you next time soon.